What's going on, everybody? My name is Jason and welcome to my channel. Right now we're actually heading to Raleigh, North Carolina. Keith King is actually having a stunt show going on. It's May 17th right now, and he invited a bunch of us over to display our bikes. So I, of course, brought my old school BMX bikes. You can see them back there. Unfortunately, it's supposed to rain for a very short time, so I did bring my tent, and I'm crossing my fingers because I really don't want my bikes getting wet, but I've got them protected pretty well. I frame saved them, I've wiped them down, and if they do get wet, then it's just an excuse to clean them up real good again and go ahead and just get them good and clean so I can display them in their full glory. So why don't you join me and let's head out to the fairgrounds and see if we can find some really cool bikes. So what's going on, everybody? I am out here at the Raleigh Fairgrounds at the King Stunt Show, and I've got somebody special here. I'm talking to Keith King himself. So how are you doing, Keith?
No, good. How are you doing?
I'm having a blast. You know, it's a great show you got going on here. What kind of got you into BMX?
So I want to say is in middle, or they call it middle school now, but it was around junior high, around 8th grade. I saw a BMX magazine. I saw a BMX magazine in I don't know what class it was, and then I remember seeing some pictures and stuff like that in the BMX magazine and checking it out. And then I had another friend named Brooke Benton, and I remember him having a picture of somebody doing an aerial in his locker. And so from a magazine, that's what spurred my interest. My first bike was a Knievel bike in '76, and then I had a Raleigh Rampart, which had like chopperish like geometry. And so I didn't know like what existed out there as far as racing and that they did things. And about that time, freestyle was born. So that was what spiked my interest, was the magazine. And from the magazine, looking and thumbing through, the first magazine I ever bought was the '84 BMX Action. And from that, I decided I wanted a Diamondback because I wanted a light bicycle. So that was what kind of introduced me to it, was a magazine. I went to a hut show that Homer had put on at Coastal Bike Supply when Coastal Bike Supply was on Peace Street in Raleigh. I believe that was like one of the first BMX shows I went to. And I also saw CW in '85 in Myrtle Beach. So seeing a freestyle show in person, like, I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to do freestyle. Back in those days, it was like far to come to Raleigh. I grew up in Chapel Hill, but you didn't have I-40 back then, so it was like pulling teeth to get somebody to take me to the BMX track. So I never got to race, so I decided to freestyle because I could just do that under my carport or do it in my driveway. So I learned a lot of flatland tricks on a rock driveway, because I grew up kind of at the time was not in a subdivision. We had a rock driveway, and then I'd ride under the carport. So that's pretty much what got me into it. I'd say the combination of seeing a BMX magazine and seeing a live show in person, which was CW and Hutch. So hope that answers your question.
Do you have a favorite bike?
Do I have a favorite bike? I would say probably it's always going to be the first bike that I had as a kid, which was the Knievel bike that looks like a motorcycle. So from like 1976, that's probably my favorite. So, I mean, that's odd. You can't do anything on it. It's heavy. And when I was a little kid, I couldn't even get on the thing. I had to like park it beside a picnic table or something to even get on it to ride it.
How long have you been doing it?
So, going all the way back to the very early 90s, me and Steve Nowak used to do a lot of shows. He used to do a lot of shows, a lot of little festivals and things like that. But when myself, John Byers, and Mike Corley started Eastern Bikes, in that era of BMX, if you had a bike company and it was a freestyle bike company, then one of the main marketing tools was to do shows. So your big show teams back then were GT, Schwinn had a big team, so did Haro. So to market Eastern, part of my responsibility was doing stunt shows for Eastern to market and build the brand awareness of the name. Around 2000, we decided to part ways. Mike and John went their way with the bike company. I went my way. They didn't have any interest in continuing to do stunt shows, so that's where I started King BMX, which would have been around 2001. So ever since then, I've not focused on, at that point, I didn't have a bike brand to promote, so I focused on entertainment. So many of the people that I talked to about doing shows would be fairs, festivals, and after I did quite a few years of fairs and festivals, then we got called up by professional sports teams like basketball, football, NASCAR, and they wanted time-sensitive shows. And when I mean time-sensitive, that means we have to go out, set up, do a show for a certain amount of time, and then come back off the floor or the field, what it have you, in a certain time. So I kind of carved out a niche in doing that. That was like one of my specialties, was time-sensitive shows. So from that, you really are at a top level of exposure when you're in front of 70-some thousand people, depending on the sporting venue. So it just helped to build the stunt show. So, we do shows for everything from schools. Schools will bring us in for fundraisers to reward the kids. We could do fairs, festivals. And so I've geared the entertainment to, I don't have a certain demographic that I do a stunt show for. The way I look at it, at some point in your life, whether you're 4 years old or 84 years old, you've either ridden a bicycle or you want to ride a bicycle. When I look out at my audience, I don't really see a demographic per se. I don't like to label this show that it only appeals to teens or something like that. I see young kids, I see teenagers, obviously, you see adults, and you see also senior citizens. So in an environment like where we are today, like at the Got to BNC Festival, you may have a whole family come here, and it could be the little kids, the mom and dad, and the grandparents. They will all enjoy the show together. certain music acts, like the festival may have a certain music act. Obviously, if you have a puppet show, it's geared towards younger children. It doesn't gear towards teenagers. If you had like a rock band, senior citizens are not going to be wanting to watch that. So I like to be able to say that my show appeals to all different ages. I've been doing this show here. We used to do a contest here inside the Dorton Arena, but we've been doing this here, I think, since 2022 for the Got to Be in C Fest, so we put it out here. So I have a lot of space, so I invite my buddies and my friends, which is why you're here, to bring their bikes, their vintage BMX bikes, old school BMX bikes, whatever. So it's just like going to a car show, but we bring all our old school bikes out here. So we've got a lot of old school bikes here. Skip is here. He collects a lot of bikes. So if anybody's out there missing deals on Marketplace and not getting BMX bike, probably bring Skip. He's probably the one that got that bike that you may have wanted. So we have, Skip's got bikes here. You have bikes here. Some of the guys have already left. And then I have bikes here. So we can talk about some of the bikes I have. We can go down to the end. This is a Torker, was it 540 Air? A friend of mine, Ron L, gave me this bike. When he gave me this bike, it was like tan and brick colored red. This bike come out of Brooklyn, New York. It was ridden all over the city in New York. It was his childhood bike. Then he gave it to his brother. His brother put a set of Array of 48s on it and then painted it like, it was a horrible paint job. So this was a complete redo, powder coating done by SCP in Clayton. I had the cranks, the sprocket. I bought the pink wheels. Pork Chop sponsors me, so a lot of stuff come from Pork Chop. Cool Stop sponsors me, so that's why it's got the Cool Stop Vans shoes on it. And then, like I said, I had the seat post, and then odds and ends I got from Pork Chop. This is a duplicate of my 85 Master. I have my 85 Master completely restored. This one right here, back in the days of eBay, or you still have the days of eBay, I got this one around 2004. Actually, this was before Chip at C4 like blew up, and he was like, hey, I got my eye on that. Are you wanting it? And I'm like, yeah, I want it. I wanted another one. So I bought this thing off of eBay. It was frame, fork, and brakes. And I want to say I got this thing for like 350 bucks back then. So then eventually I just collected things. I had to get a seat post. Oh, it had the handlebars. And then so I bought the wheels are new. The cranks are newer Redline. And then those are whatever Comp ST looking tires Pork Chop sells. As I was telling you before, the stem is not a fork lifter. It's off of a Huffy Sigma that I pulled out of a trash pile. So that's about, I don't know, 5 to 6 hours of sanding and polishing it to bring it like that with just a Redline sticker on it. The Red Master, this used to be Lee Ramsdale's bike. Then he sold it in the 90s to Mike Saris. Mike Saris then painted it like a candy blue. Then Mike Saris sold me the frame around 1990-91. And then like an idiot, I saw Jesse Puente riding one, and he had sawed the bash guard off, so I sawed the bash guard off and rode it all chrome. I stuck it away with the parts for the bash guard. It's been sitting away for over 20 years. Recently I had it repaired. I had it repaired by Scott at, I think it's Air Raid Bikes. Those are Repop Haro cranks. The front brake come from Homer Chrome about, I want to say maybe 2002-ish. And I think I told you I bought a bike for 35 bucks off of Play It Again Sports. It was a Haro Shredder. So this bike has the stem, like I said, off the Play It Again Sports bike, also the seat and the sprocket. These brake levers back in the day when I was with Eastern, Cane Creek would send us stuff. And if anybody knows, Cane Creek, I think, was the importer for Diacomp back in the day. So these are legit Japanese Diacomp Tech 77s. Some guys, when they're restoring stuff, I still run Tech 77s, but mine are made in Taiwan. I get them from Pork Chop. These are original Japanese ones. This bike here, most all these bikes out here have a story. This bike was a bluish color a lot of paint on it. I drug it out of a trash pile in 1989 at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at a flea market. I asked the guy, it was the frame, fork, I don't remember what bars, and it had a white mag wheel on it. $5 is what I paid for this in '89. I stuck it away. About 2 years ago, I decided to get it out. You're looking at about 80 hours of polishing. All this polishing on this was done with a benchtop polisher from Harbor Freight. So it's just a labor of love. Brakes, pad set, headset, pedals, all come from Pork Chop. Marketplace seat, somebody had this on Marketplace. I had the mags from a few years back, and Pork Chop used to have those tires, so they came from him. This GT over here, it's the Eddie Fiola looking one. I don't know what, around 84, 85. It is not 84, 85. Obviously, some of the experts are going to know that. This bike was given to me free as a frame, fork, and bars by a friend of mine in college. He rode it for a little bit when we were at college, then he didn't want it. I wanted it to look like the one where Eddie's sitting on the seat. So I took off the center pull brake on the bottom, took off the barrel adjuster or threaded part. And this is spray bomb. I spray painted this bike around 2012 or something like that. And then everything else, obviously ordered new mags. Brakes come from Pork Chop. Brake cables, I think these brake cables were left over from something that I got from Homer. So at least one of them is like got an 85 date code on it. A friend of mine gave me this Peugeot. It had white tires on it. The only thing I've really done to this Peugeot is polish the stem out. The grip tape is hiding all the scratches. It had white tires. I put those tires on them. If you zoom in onto the tires, I painted the tan wall on there. If anybody's out there wanting to paint tan walls on tires, you can get the paint off of Amazon. There's a paint for like leather. So you just got to take the time to hand paint it. Other than that, I hoarded this seat for a number of years. I thought it matched this bike perfect. So it never was mine. Somebody gave it to me. When I left Eastern, Sapa Anodizing is the company that made the Schwinn Azraels. If anybody knows what a Schwinn Azrael is, it was Andrew Ferris's signature frame. I got in touch with them, and because Schwinn actually gave me a frame when I departed Eastern. I wasn't sponsored by them, but they did give me a frame. I liked the way it rode, so I contacted Sapa Anodizing that made those frames back in the day. This is around 2001, and they made about 10 of these frames. I called it the King Solitude. So this is one of those that I rode. I rode the frame. The rest of it's parts just built up. These bars I never rode, obviously they still got that on it. This bike was given to me by the same guy that gave me that GT. This was his childhood bike. He gave me a frame and fork, bars and seat and stuff like that come off Marketplace. Somebody was giving away a Mongoose for free, a department store bike, and the rims on their Mongoose. I think Jason's going to give me a pair of Lesters or something to put on it. These things over here, again, just Marketplace. No, I didn't ride them.
Favorite bike in the world. He loves it.
Yeah. This is a All Pro. As you can see right here, made it Kmart. It didn't come with a front fender. My daughter broke the fender on her John Deere Power Wheel. That's a John Deere Power Wheel fender on the front of that thing. And that you can see the welds were so great on this, the crossbar just popped right off. So again, these are all Skip's bikes. These are Skip's bikes. Over here, my bikes. Over here under Jason's All Out Bikes tent. Well, we're back over here at this Diamondback Woodie's and Strike Zone. The only thing I forgot to say about the Peugeot is those are the original rims, and I Salon 40'd them. If anybody's wanting to bleach out white mags, I simply just use a paintbrush and paint Salon 40 on them. You get Salon 40 at Sally Beauty Supply. A day and a half, you get them looking brand new again. I did the same thing with these pegs. I did take those pegs off of this bike, and to get them back on, if anybody ever takes those off and they can't figure out how to get them back on, boil water put them in hot boiling water, and they'll slide right back on. So this bike, a lot of people may have seen me post about it. I could not get the seat post out. It was stuck. I ratchet strapped this with the biggest ratchet strap you could to a tree, hooked it up to a dually, a F350, and would not pull it out, hooked it up to a tractor. This bike here is was a marketplace find with the stuck seat post. I think what the guy did was put CLR in there to try to dissolve the rust, and then instantly heated it with some type of torch. You can see where he heated it, and it got so hot it basically bonded the seat post. So this is the original one. It was unremovable no matter what. I know everybody's going to say, did you soak it? I did all that stuff for weeks. So I sent it to Scott. He cut it out, put a new seat tube in it. So this bike, I got blue mags with it, frame and fork, for 150 bucks off Marketplace. It wasn't even near me. It was off the coast of North Carolina. One of my riders picked it up and brought it to me. The rest of it, seat and seat post is new. The bars are identical to Woody bars. They're actually kink bars, and I laid them right over top of Woody bars, and they're identical. And I actually used to ride this stem. If you look real close, it is cracked. So this bike, you've heard me say before, I got a shredder for 35 bucks, I think, or 25 bucks from Play It Again Sports. These are the rims. I bought a ACS, a Sun Tour with the ACS free coaster brake slash off of BMX Museum, and you, Jason, laced that up in the back wheel for me. And these are pretty much like the wheels that would have come on a stock Woody It's and Strike Zone. Other than that, I had most of the stuff that you see to put this bike back together. It's got Miraco pedals, but I thought the color went with the decal that's on it. Scott powder coated this. It's a neon red with white. I actually think it's a really sharp looking bike. Moving on over this Trickstar, I think I had this Trickstar since 2005. This Trickstar I never rode or anything. This was another thing off eBay around 2004 or 5. I got that thing frame and fork for 350 bucks back then. Slowly just accumulated parts like the Z-rims. I'm not sure, you may have put that coaster brake in that, I'm not sure. I had the Woody bars off another bike. Recently I had Scott powder coat these. I think it's called Spider Vein, but if you're a Hutch fanatic, you refer to it as futuristic black. Some kind of cheap knockoff cranks. I thought they looked cool. They're not Aerospeeds. I bought a whole box of stuff that some guy had that he cleaned out a lawnmower shop. Same with the pedals. The pedals are brand new. Moving on over, this is a Diamondback Turbo. This is the bike that I wanted when I had that 84 BMX Action magazine. This was what was the test. So this bike, a friend of mine picked up for me going back to 2012. It popped up on Craigslist. All it said was Diamondback old school bike. I contacted the guy. There was no picture. I think he may have sent me a picture. So it was the frame, fork, handlebars, and stem, and I got it for 100 bucks. This was in 2012. Stuck it away on the shelf. Recently I decided I wanted to build it up. I contacted C4, Chip at C4. He no longer had a supplier for the black that they use. It's like a translucent blue-black that they use for Diamondback turbos. There's a guy named Mike Cremandi that's like a Diamondback turbo specialist up in Ohio, and he was able to recreate it with his painter. I just decided, I went out and bought anodized blue, and then I bought smoke chrome, and I spray bombed this. So what you see on it, spray bomb. The brake cables are from Homer. They're Weinemann. They're from that era. The crossbar pads from Homer. I had the brake levers. I think one of them come from Homer. I had the brakes. I had to rob some other brakes to put the bell adjusters, the semi-automatic Weinemans are on there. I think that's why I went with Weineman cables, because you had these on there. So recently I got the cranks off of BMX Museum. I still need to put Sun Tour pedals on it. Those are SE pedals. And the seat and seat post come off some cheap Schwinn. Polished out the stem. These grips, I went and bought a Raleigh Rampart that was rusty, just beat up looking. And I met the guy in the parking lot, and I traded a bike stand for it, actually. And when he handed me the bike, I was like, wow, what grips are these? And I looked down, and it was brand new Oakley B2s. And we all know these goes for over $100. So I got, simply by trading a bike stand, is what I got these for. So that's pretty much the story of my turbo. I just recently got off BMX Museum. Those are SE wheels that come on a complete from like 2015. Because I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to spend some ridiculous amount for the chrome wheels that come on turbos. But I felt like a turbo needed chrome wheels. In 2022, Harry was in at Burlington. I'd met Harry at the Worlds when we were doing shows back in 2017. I contacted him, told him I want to come up there and get him to sign it. He signed the crossbar and the seat. And as many of you guys know, we lost Harry last year from heat stroke. Harry was still going strong at like 65 years old. So it's kind of crazy that I got that first magazine in '84. One of the bikes I wanted was the turbo. I never could have dreamed at 14, 15 years old that later down the road I would have a turbo and I would have known or met Harry, and then obviously had him sign it. This Bully is the only thing I've really changed on it was the cranks, C-post and stuff, C-post and seat. Everything else is just, and I put different levers on it. This popped up, this guy that cleaned out storage lockers. He posted this on an old school BMX page, and I was like, man, that thing's going to be long gone. But lo and behold, he was in North Carolina. I contacted him. He was coming to Raleigh to clean out a storage locker. He brought it up here to me, and we worked out a deal. I think I ended up giving $600 for this bike. And as you guys see, and you know, if anybody knows about Bully, the ones without the dash guards are kind of rare. Perry Mavar used to ride this style. And it came with these almost untouched ACS RL Edge tires and these HP 48s. So, and these Peregrine bars. And with Bully forks and Bully stem. Whoever had this bike attempted to ride maybe 2 or 3 times, and that's it. And it's pretty much meant. And then this is my rider. This is my daily rider right now. This is Hoffman Big Daddy 2018. When I saw Matt at Dave's Memorial, I was almost begging them to do a reproduction model of this. And so Kevin Jones finally agreed to it, and Brett Downs helped design it with Kevin. So this is a 2018. I love the way it rides, and this is the bike that I ride. I rode a bike just like this 94, 95, somewhere in that area. And I also had a green Big Daddy. So I was huge into the Dorkin and York videos, and Kevin Jones and Mark Eaton, forefathers of Flatland. So I'm thrilled to be riding this still to this day in my shows. So that's my complete bike. And those are just the bikes I brought here. I don't know if we did talk about those bikes over there, the Kmart bike and Huffy bike. I've got more in the collection, so hopefully when I get everything all up and enough to display, Jason can come and we can talk about more of them. Out of all the bikes that I've ridden that you've seen out here, there's only the one that you saw, the Hoffman, and then the King bike over there. The rest of the bikes are just collectible bikes that I collect, got, and then just give them another life. These are my bikes. The rest of them are my friends' bikes, and we're happy that you come out to our bike show at the Got to BNC Festival. I plan on, if they have me back next year, I would love to do that. I want to do this next year. So if you have a vintage BMX bike, you're more than welcome to come out here. You can contact me on Facebook or Instagram. My Instagram is Keith King BMX. There's also Facebook. I have personal Facebook. There's also Facebook for King BMX, and then there's also kingbmx.com. Most of our stuff is going to be updated on Instagram and then shared back over to Facebook. So it's not hard to get in touch with me, and we would love to have you bring old school BMX bike out here.
Well, thanks a lot, Keith. I guess with that, we're going to go ahead and close this with if you enjoyed the video, give us a big thumbs up. Don't forget to tell your friends. Check out some of the other videos on the corner of the screen. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Thanks.
All right. Cool.